Possibly, if it could work, but Tony brought up some good points about public money versus private money, even though the horse show is a nonprofit entity. So I think you have to be careful of how you support that to bring that back. It's been a wonderful event. I attended as often as I possibly can. But to answer your question, and maybe I should come out later. No, I don't know where all the money goes, and I don't know how successful it is as a business, so to speak. But that probably can be better communicated to all of us. I can't answer that part of the question.
Thank you.
Well, I believe I have answered part of that question a little bit. I definitely do think that, if possible, it should definitely come back to the park and specific and the town in general. I know that the town council members and staff and many volunteers in the community are very interested in helping find a way to make that happen, as they have been all along. I'm not sure that the town should give money directly, just as we have it for the historic or preserve a bridge group for other cultural and historically relevant aspects of our town. It just doesn't make sense from a taxpayer standpoint. In terms of where the money is donated, my understanding is that it goes back to various things in town, to scholarships, to other services that they've provided. I specifically, know that they donate some things to different school scholarships around town, and I think that's great. One of the things that that we talked about with the planning committee over the course of the development of the park was for a covered building, and maybe, that's one of the things that the community group, instead of putting it into specific programs, some of those monies get held aside for purchasing of a plot of land that would be appropriate for it to be housed here.
Okay. And Roger, the same question to you.
Okay, earlier when we started and laid out the plans for the park, I know at that time that there were actually rings drawn in, and this was not at that time satisfactory to the Horseshoe Committee. It being that it was too close to Wendell Road, of course it would have to be fenced in, and there's other costs to it. I have to answer that question with a question: is what is the horse show? What do they want? We're talking about the town helping them. I know at one time the town pledged $200,000 to the Horse Show Committee to buy some property just the other side of Paul River. And of course the deal fell through. Then from that, the next step that was taken was going to buy land over on the other side of Paul River Road, which was outside of the town. And of course the town, they specified that $200,000 would be in town. So that fell through too. But what I'm saying right now is, my question is at this time is, what does the Horse Show Committee want? Or do they want to, I've heard that they want a big indoor arena. Is this what they're looking for?
Okay. Thank you. Now, this reminds me of that saying, kill two birds with one stone. If you think about it, it's really kind of horrid. And so is, I hate to beat a dead horse. But while we're on this subject, I'm going to ask a tie-in question that someone has submitted, and it actually hasn't specifically been asked. And then we're going to move on to other topics besides the horse show, I promise. Here's the tie-in question, and you'll have up to 60 seconds to answer it. Last horse show related question. Dan, you get it first. Do you feel taxes should be raised to build and maintain a permanent horse show facility? And I will add my own caveat to that, assuming that that facility was located within the town limits of Oak Ridge. And this will be asked of each of you, by the way, up to 60 seconds.
I'm not sure I have a direct answer to that question. I have some reservations with it. It would depend on the overall expenditure of the tax dollars. The facilities that the town so far has provided benefit everyone pretty much all year round. The horse show, albeit a great event, takes place one time a year. So I would have to, number one, be informed about the overall expenditure to build a permanent facility. If we did do it, yeah, inside the town limits of Oak Ridge would be acceptable. But, again, I'd have to know what the expenditure is. And I just firmly believe that if we do things, it should be for as many people as possible, for as many days as possible throughout the year.
Okay, thank you. Roger, the same question. Do you feel taxes should be raised to build and maintain a permanent facility, horse show facility?
In the past, and I've been familiar with the Oak Ridge Horse Show since it started, and in the past, the Oak Ridge Horse Show has always financed its own way. And I feel today, I actually still feel that way, that the Oak Ridge Horse Show should finance its own way. And so I can't see raising the taxes. I'd love to see the horse show back in Oak Ridge. And because I'm an Oak Ridge, and I'd love to see that. But I cannot see raising the taxes to put it here.
Okay, thank you. And Liz?
Yes,
That's unquestioned.
we are not necessarily asking to raise taxes or land for Oak Ridge, but whatever would be built would be more of an exhibition hall than a showgrounds for a horse show. It would be for the horse show, it could be, as Roger mentioned, an indoor arena. That could also be used for a car show, that could be used for a concert, it could be a music concert, it could be a dog show. There are a multitude of things that we could use this exhibition center for, including the horse show. And this is what we are excited about, would love to see materialize in Oak Ridge, within the city of Oak Ridge, because only then are the people in Oak Ridge going to be willing to assist. Big thing that we keep being told, since the whole show has to be right now in Summerfield, is we're not going to work on it because of Summerfield, not Oak Ridge.
Okay, thank you. And Joni?
We definitely want it to be housed in Oak Ridge. I mean, it's one of the core historic elements, cultural assets that we have in the town. In terms of raising taxes for it, as we stand right now, I would be against that. But I also would be open to asking that as a question of the people. We'll be doing a needs assessment for the park in the next year as we look, at the future development of it and for potential future grants. So that will be a question that, will probably be a part of it so that we can get feedback and see what the people were thinking for it as well as the feasibility for it. And if it did, it would have to be a special referendum, but as of right now, I can't anticipate raising any taxes to build a private facility like that.
Okay, thank you. Now we got off course a little bit, but I want to come back to Danny and Roger and give each of you an opportunity to ask your question of either another candidate or of all the candidates. And Danny, I'm going to start with you.
I'll start with just a very broad question. There are a lot of issues that face a lot of small communities. And, some issues have already been brought up tonight that face Oak Ridge. As a candidate for town council, what do you think is the most pressing issue facing Oak Ridge currently? And we'll start with Tony.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
From my personal perspective, I think the biggest issue that we have is really kind of tying the town together. I think we have a lot of great assets, from the park to the town hall to the commons. And one of the challenges I know that is ongoing is how can we make those more connected, more walkable? And we're looking for different ways for those to happen, through the park. But if, one of my projects if elected would be to find ways to help encourage sidewalks and things like that more than we have right now. Safety is also continuing to be a growing issue. It's definitely something that the town has already started looking at with the Safety Commission, but how can we continue to make that a priority for our town as well?
Okay. David, would you like to go next?
Yes.